Precious Mzea Sakaleji, thank you for joining me. Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. The headlines. Patriotic Front and United Party for National Development trail on counter-accusation as citizens demand issue-based politics. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI to know his fate on the forgery case. Amid the debt swap debate, banks to continue deducting money from civil servants. In international news, China's central region is struggling with the worst flooding in recent history. And in sports, former President RUPIAH BANDA consoles Copper Queens after a shameful defeat. Join me with the main news in detail after this commercial.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now the main news in detail. Marketers of Muteba Market in Solwezi district have complained over the lack of amenities such as toilets, electricity and water at the trading places. Speaking to Camnet News, Astrida Kamwendo, a marketeer, explains that due to lack of toilets at the market, people have resorted to using unfinished buildings to answer the call of nature, thereby is posing health risk. Another resident, Roger Mutelemba, has advised politicians to be delivering their campaign promises of facilitating development to the people.
The area of Solwezi district is one of the fastest growing settlements in the district. The expanding of the settlement comes with a demand for necessities such as schools, hospitals and markets. And marketeers at Muteba Market of Muzavula area have since 2015 been trading under difficult circumstances as the market lacks essentials such as electricity, water and toilets, which has been forcing the marketeers to use unfinished building and open space to answer the call of nature.
Indeed, we really need the help from any well-wishers, if it means the government, politicians, anyone who can help at this market. We really need help concerning electricity and in general toilets.
Bukwashoba kwa muntu nango kuayemba sukure tu ya kumazugo matoileti kafuapo mari yetu shupa kuposha matoileti arondoroka amema pano twaromba ko bukwasho government etupeko bukwasho wakwambe betu kwasheko ateba marketia kumuzabura pa Muteba Market.
Some people they even go the city, they even go in shops, in those unfinished shops, so which is a hazard to our health.
These marketeers now want political leaders to stick to their promises and not what is often the case where they forget about the electorate once voted into power.
Tunakivange twamuvotera wapita Mr. Katoro. Yetu kwashe bantu bonse kuno twayanda yo tubena kwamba matoileti kafuako bintu byonse bakwetu bana kutomba pone mema ya mapipe batatu batoma tumema ya manjirai mwayuka ikwe matoileti ikwe manjirai getro kutema mema ya wamane notinge tubavotera bayatuchiye ye juba chikwaona utukakana
uyu walipo after twamvotera FORGERY ile fofini tatwa mwene pofuti ewe alenga fyonsefi ta isapo na mno market muku tuipshefo tulefaya takuri so tulefaya wewe twalavotera akabombe kuno especially pama light na pama toilets.
In Solwezi, Municipal Council could not respond to these complaints by broadcast time. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV.
A man of Chainda compound is seeking medical assistance on his hip bone fracture resulting from a hit-and-run road traffic accident in the same area. Kelvin Siakasweka, 26, was hit by a vehicle on July 6, 2021, leaving him with a dislocated hip and bone fracture on his right leg. His brother Teddy Siakasweka explains that since the accident, the family has tried to seek proper medical attention, but to no avail. Mr. Siakasweka explains that when he visited the hospital, no much treatment was done but only administered with painkillers and a band-aid wrapped around the patient's leg.
Kelvin Siasweka is a 26-year-old man of Lusaka whose life was on 6th July 2021 shattered after being involved in a hit-and-run accident. The accident left Mr. Siasweka, a father of 2 children, with a dislocated hip while his right leg suffers a bone fracture. Despite the severity of the accident, the victim has not received the much-needed medical attention from Levi Mwanawasa General Hospital, where he was rushed after the accident. The mother to the victim, who traveled from Livingston to come and attend to her son, could not hold the emotions as she laments.
So shikwete nobwafurisho pano umwana alele fya pana ngwimpira kutira mbwerere shikwete so mwe bantu ejo nderomba fyo bwafurisho mwe bantu mwangu afurisheko so shishiru fya kuchita mwe bantu pano fyo mwene pano shikwete malengo afurisha hapo mwe bantu kuti mwangu afurisheko mwe bantu mwana no mwana fya lele katishi mafupa mungare bora so nichona isa kuimwe nati munga afurisha mwe bantu so shishiru na mwifupele ngalile bora lele fyi ubushiko nakasubotala abanokulala talala nokulala lele alele fyo ubushiko bonse alele fyo akasubakonse so shishiru fya kuchita mwe bantu chona ishira kulimwe nati munga afurisha ko mwe bantu ndaramba fyo afurisha mwe bantu.
And brother to the victim, Ted Siasweka, explained how hard it is to manage the situation considering his brother is bedridden for almost a month.
Uyu muntu anazichita apa pamene alili apa sauka saenda na toilet ni pamene apa so anatioka apa ponse apa anatioka na apa anatioka apa so pamene alili ni bandage chabi amene wana mumanga ye bandage so i bandage friction imamuchita so sagona usiku na muzuva sagona kulibe so apa toilet timamupeleka che pamene apa anatioka apa inamumenya pamene apa motoka ndiye pamene inamuchaya anatioka na kwendo pamene uko so mabonza akaena akaliopusa na x-ray mwamene naonesa so ndiye mwamene alili banatichosa notichosa mu hospital but banatipasa chebe panado yeka pia mena mama baso panado sima titandiza umuntu peni ni ambiri maningi peni amena amvera.
The family has since appealed to government and well wishes to come through for their situation.
Uyu muntu amene muona ni brother wanga so ine pamene nilili pano sinisebenza nchita chebe ma peace week kuchoka mwamene namubunkira motoka uyu muntu anamubunka anataba so tenzo pempa kotandizo kuti amene vangatitandizire kuti uyu muntu tingamubweze ku clinic amene ingatitandizire hospital amene ingatitandizire kuti angalemushe pamene alira pasauka saenda tachita viri vonse so tipemba kotandizo kuti amene vangatitandizeko.
Alex Chimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A psychiatrist has disclosed that political violence has the potential to create a citizenry with psychological stress and mental health issues in the long run. Speaking to Camnet TV News in an interview, Chainama Hospital psychiatrist Luyando Hamwendo says children, especially those who grow up being exposed to violence, tend to grow up being more violent as they learn from the behavior around them. Mr. Hamwendo has since advised perpetrators of political violence to desist, as the generation to come may be the ones to suffer the most as a result.
As cliché as it may sound, when the elephant fights, it's the grass that suffers. The same adage may be applied when it comes to the effects of political violence, as the ones who end up suffering the most are women and children. Research has shown that even short-term exposure to political violence may have long-lasting effects on children's adjustment and behavior, according to a study by a team of researchers under the Duke University Center for Child and Family Policy. Facts too, which have been highlighted by a a Lusaka-based psychiatrist, Mr. Luyando Hamwendo, who says political violence on children especially causes psychological stresses and mental health issues such as exhibiting more violence themselves, vandalism, depression, among many other things in the short and long term.
Children who've been brought up in environments like those end up becoming violent themselves when they have their families. So if we talk about the psychological impact, obviously these are children who will be very anxious, they'll have very low self-esteem, and they might have poor grades as well. So there's a decrease in their cognitive functioning in school. So they might also have mental disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorders, and we know that these mental disorders sometimes might lead to things such as suicide, might lead to self-harm behaviors and risky behaviors as well.
Bearing this in mind, Mr. Hamwendo has therefore advised perpetrators of political violence to desist from engaging in such acts as they have adverse effects on society.
We observe violence in families, if they observe violence in the community, these children might end up being more violent than the people that are observed. So a word to parents and probably the community is that let's desist from violence, because we are teaching children how to live, and these children might become more violent than we are, and this might breed into something worse in our country.
Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Top contenders in the forthcoming general election, Thursday 22nd of July 2021, headed south of Zambia to engage voters in order to solidify their presidential bid for the August 12th election. Republican President Edgar Lungu was in Chilanga district, where he engaged citizens and institutions on various development issues. The head of state acknowledged that water and sanitation are critical in ensuring human dignity. He says his administration will continue to facilitate inclusive access to drinking water and proper sanitation through various projects that have been initiated. Meanwhile, the United Party for National Development UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema was in Kafue district, where he reiterated his concern over the escalating cost of living and high unemployment levels.
Two leading contenders in the forthcoming general elections, the Ruling Patriotic Front and the Opposition United Party for National Development UPND, have headed south in their quest to lobby for votes ahead of the polls. 12 August is a constitutionally binding date for elections, and it is a big day for Zambia. Republican President Edgar Lungu was in Chilanga district, where he interacted with various citizens and institutions to affirm his commitment towards developing the country.
What we need to appreciate is that clean and safe water is a fundamental right to all in Zambia. Won't be left behind when we look at the UN goals. And I've been told that it's been going on, the people on the ground, the data, then I will find out from the ministry with the outgoing and incoming MPs.
Meanwhile, the UPND was in Kafue district to make pledges to the electorate. The leader of the largest opposition political party in Zambia, Hakainde Hichilema, continues to advance the issue of the escalating cost of living, among other things, which he said he would address when voted into office. With bare weeks before polling day, campaigns have intensified. In total, there are 16 presidential candidates seeking to govern the country, and that provides an opportunity for people to make the verdict by selecting amongst the many candidates on the ballot. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, has dismissed allegations that it is allegedly planning to cause mayhem on the 10th and 11th of August, saying it is false. Reacting to the allegations, UPND Alliance Media Director Thabo Kawana describes the allegations as falsehoods being spread by the ruling Patriotic Front in their desperation to hoodwink the Zambian people. Mr. Kawana says that it is important that the Patriotic Front observes the peace accord which was agreed upon by the two parties and desist from act of provocation.
The United Party for National Development and the Patriotic Front has continued to be into counter-accusation in the build-up to the August 12 elections. This is despite various stakeholders such as the civil society organizations and the church advising political parties to stick to issue-based politics. Thursday, 22nd July 2021, Patriotic Front Media Director Antonio Mwanza issued a statement claiming that the UPND are currently organizing 60,000 youths in Lusaka to cause mayhem in Mandevu compound.
As we are speaking right now, the UPND are organizing 60,000 youths in Lusaka. They are organizing these youths and they want to have what they will call a social contract signing with these youths. They plan to do these activities on the 10th and 11th in Mandevu.
But the United Party for National Development, UPND, has dismissed allegations against the party, accusing the party of causing violence and further to cause mayhem on the 10th and 11th August. UPND Alliance's media director, Thabo Kawana, told the media briefing that it is not true.
We want to make it very clear that the sentiments attributed to the PF through their media director, insinuating that the UPND are proposing violence and are perpetuating violence, are totally false and untrue. If it is the incidents they refer to in Sioma, we want to put it on record that the incident in Sioma ensued upon the PF beating up the independent candidate there, whom the residents rose in defense and beat up the PF candidates. Us as UPND, we have nothing to do with that.
And Mr. Kawana has urged the civil servant against buying into the idea of a debt swap.
We want to urge our civil servants to heed our call when we advise them that this debt swap, so-called, is a gonga, it is a kerenka, it is nothing but meant to hoodwink them to thinking that then they must vote for the PF because they've brought something good for them. There's nothing good the PF has brought.
Alex Chishimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The International Coalition of Fellowships has called on the churches to leave out its message of giving as the country is experiencing economic hardships due to the coronavirus. ICOF Southern Africa Deputy Presiding Officer Jevin Kamanga tells Camnet TV News that many people have lost their sources of income following the pandemic, and it is during such times that the church should step up and play their role of giving.
So the church needs to arise to this occasion. Instead of us being part of the problem in the COVID-19, we need to take this as an opportunity. Find ways and means of raising resources that are going to be put into good use by going to meet the needs of the people that may not have the capacity to sustain their lives. There are so many people that are vulnerable. And these people are depending on other people to help them because jobs are hard to come by. Okay. Secondly, they've been sustained by churches through and through. Now we just dump them like that. We are condemning them to death. So we need to wake up. We need to take part in this program and support government. Government's efforts, yes, they are doing very well, but they need the support of organizations like civil society and the church.
In other news, the Bankers Association of Zambia has revealed that it will continue to subtract the loan repayment from all public service workers until the ongoing reconciliation and the date payback mechanism with the government are finalized. Speaking to Camnet News in an exclusive interview, Bankers Association of Zambia Chief Executive Officer Leonard Mwanza explains that all loans contracted by public service workers through a bilateral agreement with commercial banks and other financial institutions will remain active and serviced through direct debit order in individual bank accounts as contained in the existing loan agreement. Mr. Mwanza has since advised the public service workers with existing loans obtaining from commercial banks and other financial institutions that the existing terms and conditions under the loans were contracted are still in force.
The debate surrounding the debt swap initiative is far from being over. While government is keen at improving the livelihood of its citizens by initiating a mechanism meant to better their lives, such as giving a relief to civil servants who have overborrowed from financial lending institutions by taking over their debt burden for the next 3 months, as they devise plans on how best the indebted civil servants can repay their debt, one would however wonder if the banks will buy into the idea of not deducting the loans beginning the month of July. I spoke to the Bankers Association of Zambia to get their perspective on the matter, and this is what they had to say.
I wish to advise the public, especially public service workers, that existing loans obtained from commercial banks and other financial institutions under the terms and conditions on which these loans were borrowed are still in force. They are still active. Therefore, in this regard, all loans contracted under the Payroll Management and Establishment Control (PMIC) shall remain active and serviced by the government.
With regards to the July salaries, civil servants are keen to know if the lending institutions will not deduct from their earnings. Mr. Mwanza went ahead to clarify this notion.
Borrowed straight from the banks, straight from financial institutions, and those recoveries are going through their bank accounts. Those debit orders have already started going through, and they will continue going through up to the end of the month. So the recoveries that are done directly from people's salary accounts held in commercial banks shall continue until further notice. So they will be informed by the ongoing reconciliations, and those deductions will only stop at the point when government says we are ready, we will finalize the reconciliation, we owe this civil servant owe you so much, we are now ready to pay you, here is the check. At that point in time, the banks will release those loans to government. But until money exchanges hands, those loans will remain active and the recoveries will continue. Similar, even for those that are on PMIC payroll, from our side, those loans will remain active and be serviceable.
While government has been criticized for failing to remit the monies it has been deducting from the civil servants to the financial lending institutions, what guarantee do the financial institutions have that government will this time fulfill the remitting of the resources to bail out its workers?
Given us a guarantee that the recoveries will come through. They've started coming through. They're actually up to date for commercial banks. They paid up to June yesterday, and they're saying before the end of this month they will pay what should have been recovered from civil servants in the month of July. They will still pay us before the end of the month. We've been given that assurance, that guarantee by government. So we're not worried, they're up to date. Now, what happens after the reconciliations, it will be informed on the process that government and mechanism they will put in place.
The association will continue to await further guidance from the government on the ongoing reconciliation and the debt buyback initiative. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has set 9th September 2021 as the date for judgment in the case where former National Democratic Congress leader CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI is accused of forgery and being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime amounting to 6 million kwacha, among other charges. This was after all the 5 accused persons in this matter finished giving their testimony in the matter. KAMBWILI in this matter has been jointly charged with his son, Mwamuna Engineering and Technical Services, 2 Zambia Revenue Authority employees, Msonda Lukwesa, a senior inspector, and Mulenga Kapilima, a revenue officer.
After appearing before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court on accusation of forgery, taking pecuniary advantage, and being in possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, amounting to over 6 million kwacha, among other charges, for close to 3 years, former National Democratic Congress leader CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI will have to wait for 2 more months for the court to deliver its judgment. Lusaka High Court Judge Mwaka Mikalile, sitting as principal magistrate Thursday morning, says she is going to give a judgment in the matter in September. This was after all the accused persons finished giving their testimonies. And commenting on their awaiting judgment, This is what Dr. KAMBWILI had to say.
I cannot say what do you expect from the court, because that is prejudice. I cannot prejudice my own case. What is just important is that I'm happy that the matter has come to a close and we are only waiting for a judgment. I've been going to court for the past 3 years on this matter, and today I can only say I'm happy that it has come to a stage where we are only waiting for judgment. But to say what the court is going to rule is actually not right, because you don't discuss a matter that is in court.
This case dates back to the year 2018, when the former NDC leader KAMBWILI was arrested and charged with 39 counts of different charges. His son too, Mwamba, has been implicated in this case. Mwamona Engineering and Technical Services, 2 Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA employees, Musonda Lukwesa, a senior inspector, and Mulenga Kapilima, a former revenue officer, have also been jointly charged in this case. The 2 ZRA officials are alleged to have prepared a false document indicating that Mwamona was tax compliant when not. And when the matter came up Thursday morning for continued defense, the last accused person, Mulenga Kapilima, a former ZRA employee, in a testimony disclosed that the tax clearance certificate, which is before court in relation to Mwamona Company, is an authentic document which she issued herself to Mwamona in 2014. She told the court that from 2015 till date, Mwamona has been issued tax clearance because it is tax compliant. She denied ever issuing a fake tax clearance certificate to Mwamona Company. It is alleged in one of the counts that Mwamona Engineering and KAMBWILI, between August 1st, 2014 and September 30th, 2016, in Lusaka, jointly and whilst acting together by means of false pretense, dishonestly obtained money from China Henan International Group Corporation Limited, purporting that Mwamona, a company which was subcontracted, was executing works on Lwengo Mansa Road when in fact not. 9th September 2021 has been set as Judgment Day. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Attorney General Likando Kalaluka has submitted before the Constitutional Court that President Edgar Lungu did not contravene Article 818 and 922 when he passed the Correctional Service Bill number 35 of 2021 when his parliamentary mandate expired following the dissolution of Parliament. This is in a case where Chapter 1 Foundation had petitioned President Edgar Lungu for assenting to the Correctional Service Bill number 35 of 2021 when his parliamentary mandate expired following the dissolution of Parliament, but the court removed the president from the case and replaced him with Attorney General Likando Kalaluka as the respondent in the case. In a response filed before the court, the Attorney General states that that President Lungu had the executing mandate until the President-elect assumes office to continue to perform executive functions.
The matter in which Chapter 1 Foundation Limited had petitioned President Edgar Lungu last month in June for assenting to the Correctional Service Bill number 35 of 2021 when his parliamentary mandate expired following the dissolution of Parliament continues in the Constitutional Court. However, the Constitutional Court removed the head of state from the case and replaced him with the Attorney General Likando Kalaluka after a chief state advocate from the Attorney General's chambers told the court to remove President Lungu from the matter because he enjoys immunity and cannot be sued. In this petition, Chapter 1 Foundation Limited wants the Constitutional Court to give a conservatory order staying the Zambia Correctional Service Act number 35 of 2021 and restoring the Prison Act Chapter 97 of the Zambian laws pending determination of the petition. The petitioner also seeks a declaration that to the extent that the Zambia Correctional Service Bill number 35 of 2021 was passed by President Lungu after the dissolution of Parliament on May 13, 2021, the Zambia Correctional Service Act number 37 of 2021 was not law enacted by Parliament of Zambia, therefore it was now unvoid. And in responding to the petitioner's argument the Attorney General, Likando Kalaluka, submits that the President is mandated to perform other functions specified by the Constitution as prescribed pursuant to Article 92, and as such, he can assent to bills specified by the Constitution itself and the Acts of Parliament Act Chapter 3 of the Laws of Zambia. He states that President Lungu did not contravene Articles 81 and 92 as alleged by Chapter 1 Foundation, adding that President Lungu assented the bill within the prescribed period even though Parliament was dissolved at the time. He has since submitted to the court that Chapter 1 Foundation is not entitled to any of the reliefs it claims. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We'll take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
On August 12th, we have a choice to make. Perhaps the most important choice in our country's history. One option is to stick with this government and keep things how they are. But after 10 years, we all know what this will mean. More unemployment, more empty plates, more empty pockets. But yet, alternatively, we can embrace change. Change that will create jobs, reduce prices, and more importantly, put food on our tables. Change that will restore hope and move Zambia forward. Sometimes, politics can feel complicated, but this choice could not be clearer. Change for a better life, or 5 more years like the last 10. On August 12th, the choice is yours. The future of your family, the future of our country is in your hands.
Good day to you, dear esteemed customers. As AMTEL, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers Zamtel customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. Zamtel customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they use when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for Zamtel to Zamtel calls, Zamtel to Zamtel SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. Zamtel customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We continue with the rest of the news. The Lusaka magistrates have committed a 30-year-old graduate of Apex University who trafficked his friend to work as a maid in Turkey but was subjected to inhuman treatment to the Lusaka High Court for sentencing. Lusaka magistrate Felix Kaoma convicted Paul Zambara of Ngombe Township of trafficking in persons. Zambara trafficked Alice Lubinda, 23, to Turkey for the worst form of labor between July 1, 2019 and August 31, 2019. Magistrate Kaoma said Zambara, who arranged her friend's trip to work as a maid in Turkey, betrayed her trust. When Lubinda arrived at her employee's house in Turkey, her passport and mobile phone were confiscated and the employer used to lock her up inside the house. Delivering judgment, the court found that the prosecution proved its case beyond any reasonable doubt, as there was overwhelming evidence that Zambara trafficked Lubinda and was a recruiter in Zambia while there was a transporter and receiver in Turkey. The offense, which Zambara has been convicted of, carries a minimum sentence of 20 years and a maximum of 30 years imprisonment with hard labor. The court has no jurisdiction to sentence Zambara and referred him to the High Court for sentencing on a date to be advised. Police in Sioma district have arrested 15 people for malicious damage to property and riotous behavior. This followed counter accusations in which police received a report from the Patriotic Front aspiring Member of Parliament Mbololwa Sumpula that she was attacked by the Sioma Independent Member of Parliament Albert Amukena and his supporters, while the independent Sioma aspiring parliamentary candidate also reported that he was attacked by the Sioma Patriotic Front aspiring Member of Parliament and her supporters. Before incidents are reported to have occurred on 21st July 2021. Zambia Police spokesperson Esther Katongo says the unruly cadres are alleged to have later gone to the PF's candidate's house, where they are alleged to have broken 11 window panes to her house and damaged her motor vehicle. Mrs. Katongo says the 15 suspects who are in police custody for malicious damage to property and riotous behavior will appear in court soon. She has appealed to politicians to show maturity and responsibility as they conduct their political activities. Meanwhile, United Party for National Development spokesperson Cornelius Mwitwa has distanced the party for acts of violence.
The issue which is going around to say UPND alliance members have attacked Patriotic Front members in Sioma and Mazabuka is not true. This is PF propaganda at their best. The PF candidate, Honorable Mbololwa, has already told the nation that the people who attacked her people are those who are contesting as independents. UPND alliance is not an independent candidature. Therefore, treat this kind of propaganda as PF propaganda, the same way they misled the nation that they were performing well. We ended up where we are, where the kwacha is trading at 22 kwacha per dollar, where we have high levels of poverty, we have high levels of unemployment, we have high levels of people who have retired not being paid, yet PF continues to misinform the nation that everything is okay under the sun.
The Ministry of Health says it is in talks to consider extending the COVID-19 vaccination to children. Speaking during the COVID-19 update at the Ministry of Health in Lusaka, Minister of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services Dr. Kennedy Malama says the ministry continues to monitor the gravity of the COVID-19 pandemic in children, which will determine whether or not children should be added to the vaccination schedule. Dr. Malama says currently, despite having lost a number of children due to COVID-19, the majority of children that have been affected have responded well to treatment and recovered. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health, through its Assistant Director, Dr. Patricia Bobo, says the administration of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will begin tomorrow, the 23rd of July 2021, only in Lusaka, and will be spread to other parts of the country soon.
You've seen in other countries, yes, like America and others, they've started looking at children who are 12 to 15 years and they are giving them the vaccines. Zambia, we haven't reached that stage and we are not discussing it for now. But we've reported, you're right, in the past that there were children who were affected, some as young as few months of age, under 15, and we've lost some. Just today, we lost one who was 12 years of age. So again, it depends case by case. We are happy as a country that the majority of our children, they may test positive, but they've come out without progressing to severe disease. But we are closely monitoring because we've seen, like in European countries, children have actually been affected. Those who have gone to the fourth wave and fifth wave.
Proposed sites for Lusaka are as follows: University of Zambia, Showgrounds, OYDC, Islamic Center, Chawama Basic School, Evelyn Home College, Pop Square, St. Patrick's Primary School, Bowley Special Needs School, Cavendish University. So these are the sites where people can actually obtain the single dose J&J starting from 23rd July 2021, which is tomorrow.
A Lusaka entrepreneur has called on young people to emulate good cultural practices than indulging themselves in bad conduct. In an interview with Camnet TV, Frank Banda says young people are better off kept busy as opposed to being led to engage in substance abuse.
Success is dependent on one's mindset. A proper plan of the future can have a great impact on the young and future generations. However, Zambia has in the last days recorded a great number of young people engaging themselves in less productive activities, such as the excess uptake of alcohol. To this effect, Frank Banda, a Lusaka-based entrepreneur, has called on the youth in Zambia to emulate good cultural practices.
Due to COVID-19. So we find that some people, they were working as due to COVID-19, they stopped working. So we find that the people, they don't have money to come and buy our product. So, and also in this lot, there are some places whereby there are people, they are buying and they are selling it. So find that the place where you are doing the business is being disturbed.
He says he tries hard to make ends meet despite coronavirus and has since encouraged young people to do the same.
Which some people they are making like in our compound, just due to laziness. That's the only problem that people are facing. Because you find that she can't move to go and look for a job, whereby there are some places whereby they are looking for the workers to work in their companies, but due to laziness.
Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Mandela Washington Fellowship this afternoon donated a sum of 4,000 kwacha to Children's Hospital at the University Teaching Hospital to go towards the procurement of COVID-19 protective equipment for healthcare workers. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview, Mandela Washington Fellowship representative Mwapem Sonda says they want to support healthcare workers involved in the fight against COVID-19.
Mandela Fellows for 2021 that Toilab, what they are doing is a great thing. It's a noble cause, and we thought today that we come through and make a donation of 4,000 kwacha, which will go towards the procurement of PPEs for COVID-19. And we have seen how our medical workers, our health workers have been working since 2020 March when the pandemic broke out here in Zambia. The workers, health workers have been working under a lot of stress and they are risking their lives. And we thought we come through and give the simple donation, but we believe that it will go a long way in saving the lives of many young people.
A big donation from the Nelson Mandela Fellowship of 4,000 kwacha going towards the acquisition of PPEs, personal protective equipment for hard-working frontliners at various clinics. Today we received 4,000 kwacha, as I've already said. I'm very, very thankful that the community is helping us make sustainable change. I'm a firm believer in activism, and this Care for the Caregiver drive has been running from the 1st of July, and we've gotten an overwhelming response.
We'll take our second set of commercials. Coming next is international and sports news.
President Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the Patriotic Front have transformed the transportation sector by facilitating the construction of bus stations around the country. Vote for Edgar Chagwa Lungu and the PF that have brought you change.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons, and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883 as well as 096 2 444 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Now getting into our international item. Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara will meet his predecessor Laurent Gbagbo on July 27th, a presidential spokesperson said on Wednesday. The meeting is first since Gbagbo returned to Abidjan in mid-June after a decade in exile and years of legal procedures at the International Criminal Court. Is awaited by many in the West African country as a step further towards national reconciliation. Ouattara and Gbagbo, two of the main figures of Ivorian politics in the last 30 years, had faced off in the 2010 presidential elections. As both Ouattara and Gbagbo claimed victory in the vote, the country was plunged into a deep, violent political crisis. Meanwhile, at least 33 people have died and 200,000 people have been evacuated. Half of those killed were stuck in underground railways in Shenzhen City. Streets, subways, factories and farmlands have been all affected. Thousands are expected to help with the search and rescue efforts.
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the state of siege was extended for the fourth time on Friday, July the 17th by the National Assembly. A member of parliament from North Kivu province cited several reasons for the abolition of the state of siege in the justice sector. This provisional lawmaker elected from Lubero believes that a state of siege should be applied to other facets of life. The first reason is that the state of siege was decreed to solve security problems. The second reason is that the military justice system is overwhelmed. Thirdly, there's a lack of military magistrates and judges at the prosecutorial level. The fourth reason is that justice must not be confused. We fear that the state of siege will be long and that the treasury will be mismanaged. During his recent visit to the city of Goma, President Felix Tshisekedi affirmed that there's a positive evolution regarding the state of siege in the two provinces. It was necessary to evaluate the state of siege in North Kivu and Ituri. Some inhabitants of Goma are concerned that there's been no positive change since the proclamation of the state of siege in North Kivu, but some have hope for change in the future. Problems have become a habit, even if we're gradually hoping for good results. In our region, before, there was a problem of tribalism. And with the state of siege, we aspire to find solution to these problems. Of the 339 MPs who took part in the vote, 337 voted for the extension of the state of siege in North Kivu. Ituri and two others abstained.
Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara will meet his predecessor Laurent Gbagbo on July 27th. A presidential spokesperson confirmed on Wednesday. This meeting, the first since Gbagbo's return to Abidjan in mid-June after a decade in exile and years of legal procedures at the International Criminal Court, is awaited by many in the West African country as a step further towards national reconciliation. Ouattara and Gbagbo, two of the main figures of Ivorian politics in the last 30 years, had faced off in the 2010 presidential election. As both Ouattara and Gbagbo claimed victory in the vote, the country was plunged into a deep, violent political crisis. The United Nations estimates over 3,000 people have died as Ivorian security forces and pro-Ouattara militants fought for power. After a month back in the country, Gbagbo has already met with key leaders of the opposition, such as the former president and political rival, Henry Konan Bédié.
An image of normality turned upside down. Like a giant scrapyard, abandoned cars block a tunnel in central Zhangzhou. Roads transformed into rapidly flowing rivers. where in some areas boat is the only way to get around. The city's inhabitants are used to typhoons, but they're still coming to terms with the scale of this week's deluge. It was the heaviest rainfall in 60 years. On Tuesday, more than 200 millimetres fell in just 1 hour. On state TV, the images have been more uplifting. Rescuers bringing young and old to safety. Some of the estimated 800,000 residents who've been displaced. The emphasis is on the positive work being done, not on those who've died.
Our teams have rushed to many places. We are carrying out tasks like blasting and flood diversion, flood fighting and rescue, as well as mass evacuations.
The underlying message, the party will protect you. On social media, though, there's anger at why local weather forecasters fail to warn residents properly. The city lies in a flood-prone area. The provincial government reportedly spent more than $8 billion building defences that were supposed to prevent disasters like this happening. Now, more extreme weather is threatening the area. A typhoon is bearing down on China's eastern coast and could make landfall this weekend. Adrian Brown, Al Jazeera, Hong Kong.
We now get into our sports item. Former President RUPIAH BANDA has urged the Zambia women's national team not to be disheartened by the Group F loss to Netherlands at the ongoing Tokyo 2020 Olympics Games. In a statement issued by his Deputy Administrative Assistant, Chibeza Mfuni, BANDA urged the Bruce Mwapit-coached side to forget about the 3-10 loss and look forward to getting a better result against China on Saturday. He urged Zambians to rally behind the Copper Queens as it was every citizen's duty to render unwavering support to the girls who are on the historic national adventure. Already skipper Barbara Banda set a record of being the first African female footballer to score a hat-trick at the Olympics. The Copper Queens, who held a training sessions at Sendai Stadium today, will face China at 10 hours Central African time at Miyagi Stadium on Saturday. In the other Group F match, leaders Netherlands will host Brazil at 20 hours Central African time. And still in sports news, as athletes from across the world start to gather in the isolation bubble system that the Tokyo Games imposed to control COVID-19, there is a risk that infections could spread more widely from within. The positive tests among athletes have stoked fear of a possible outbreak in the Olympics village that would be a nightmare scenario for organizers. Hugs, handshakes and high fives are banned in the Olympics and Paralympic Village, and competitors could be kicked out of the game if they ignore regulations. Tokyo remains under a state of emergency and competitors face unparalleled restrictions on their movements. More in the following report.
Everyone heading to these Olympics is taking a step into the unknown. The first hurdle for athletes and media arriving in Japan, making sure all the right paperwork is in place to pass strict COVID-19 safety protocols.
Well, we've just made it through a fairly complex immigration process that took around 4 hours and involved taking a COVID test. I also had to take 2 COVID tests in the days immediately prior to coming to Japan, and I'll be tested every day for the first 3 days and then at regular intervals after that. As for the athletes, well, they'll go through something very similar, but they will be tested every single day that they're at these Olympics.
Some public health experts are concerned the efforts being taken to keep these games safe don't go far enough. For example, the daily test athletes are taking is a rapid result antigen test, not the more reliable and accurate PCR test.
I think the fundamental problem was a lack of open, transparent, and scientific discussions about the conditions under which the Olympics could be held in a safe and a secure manner. I think that is totally irresponsible.
Coronavirus has already derailed the plans of many potential Olympians. Uganda's Rugby Sevens team were hoping to compete at the Games for the first time. But after some of their players tested positive for COVID-19 at their final qualifying event, they had to withdraw. And similar scenarios are already playing out in Japan.
The preparation has been very, very difficult for many athletes. And of course, that experience has not been similar. The virus has impacted some countries in a devastating way.
Hugs, handshakes and high fives are all banned at the athletes' village. Competitors have been told they could be kicked out of the Games if they ignore regulations aimed at preventing the spread of coronavirus. But not all athletes are concerned by the restrictions as they focus on winning Olympic gold.
You can't congregate in big groups in the dining hall. You got to stay in your little bubble of 4 or 5 people the whole time and stay to your room and all of that. That's exactly how I've always treated an Olympic Games. Like, it hasn't been a big social experience for me. It's all about the competition, and so it's going to be pretty routine.
That sense of isolation is set to continue into the fanless, empty stadiums that will surround an Olympics like no other. Andy Richardson, Al Jazeera, Tokyo.
Well, that sports story brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Patriotic Front and United Party for National Development trail on counter-accusations as citizens demand issue-based politics. CHISHIMBA KAMBWILI to know his fate on the forgery case. Amid the debt swap debate, banks to continue deducting money from civil servants. In international news, China's central region is struggling with the worst flooding in recent history. And in sports, former President RUPIAH BANDA consoles Copper Queens after a shameful defeat. Well, before we go, here's a Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from the book of Hebrews 11 verse 6 to 7, and it reads, "Now without faith it is impossible to please God. For the one who draws near to him must believe that he exists and rewards those who seek him. By faith Noah, after he was warned about what was not yet seen and motivated by the godly fear, built an ark to deliver his family. By faith he condemned the world and became an heir of righteousness that comes by faith." Thank you for joining me. I am Precious Mzeya Sakaleji. Continue watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Pleasant viewing.